So we're doing things a little bit differently this morning, and not a lot different, but a little bit different. What I would like to do to begin with is hear from you. If you can tell me about a time when you've been out in a boat and it was stormy. Have you ever been out in a boat when it was stormy?
Oh yeah.
Well, tell me about it.
All the time. When I was going to high school, I have to go through the harbor. So I would take a ferry every morning for an hour and an hour back in the sea.
And it was uphill both ways?
Typhoon. A lot of typhoon in the summertime.
Yes.
And it's very stormy.
Yes.
And springtime is extremely foggy. And you don't see anything. In the morning you wake up, it's all white because the fog fell down, and you'll hear the ferries or the boats, they honk all the time, all the time. It is loud because it's a lot of them.
So you don't want to crash into each other.
Right, yeah. And sometimes the boat goes slowly. Usually that whole morning was in the boats. You just pretend to go to school and things happen, right? And like we start at 6 and we end up in the sea until noontime, and then we go home. Sometimes you see on honey, and then all of a sudden you see a boat coming next to you. You can see the people.
Was it scary?
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. We were kids.
Yeah. Because you didn't know.
Now I
just have to go to school.
Yeah, and it's scary. And the storm, wavy, rock the boats. It happen all the time. Yeah.
Very good. Who else has got a story of when they're out on a boat and it's a little bit stormy? Jeff.
We were on Lake Pleasant one time, and the storm came up and wind, so the waves got bigger. And this guy, he had a little 12-foot aluminum boat. And I think his motor was too big for the boat. And he came screaming past us, and the waves were getting bigger and bigger. And that boat hit the side of a wave, and it turned up into the air, came down under the water upside down. Fortunately, the guy got thrown out, and we went over and pulled him out. And he was looking for his rod and reel. He found the line, and he pulled the line all the way in. And he said, "Look, I got my rod and reel back."
The important things are recovered.
That's a fisherman for you, huh?
And there was a 5-pound bass on it. No, I didn't.
That's good. Who else has got a story? You may.
It's real story for our life. And when I and Danny and me and the 4 friends jumping from Saipan to Guam.
From Saipan to Guam?
Yes.
Yeah.
We wire a very, very big boat yacht. The small boat is like a motorboat.
You were on a small motorboat?
Yeah, very small and really big, just the size of the truck right now.
Yeah.
The truck, this big truck, the small truck. 6 people and plus the driver. I don't know if the pilot or driver they call. And we crossed out the deepest the channel of the Philippines.
The Philippine Sea.
Yeah, the Philippine Seas. From Saipan to Guam. And in the midnight, I think in the midnight, and on the area, we see the storm is coming. So and then the time the water is calm, but actually the water is going to our boat, and the whole boat is full of water. And at the time I'm asleep on the boat, and I only feel the boat is turn around on the same place.
Going in circles?
Yeah, in a circle on the same place, and feel around you and few meters the diameter, diameter,
Yeah.
few meter. And then I woke up, I said, what's going on? And I think I thought I felt it's not the wiring we're going. I feel our in the circle and around. And then we turn on the flashlight and found out a lot of water in the bowl. And it's almost on the sea level. It's the same water. So everybody is very panicked. And I told them to calm down and we have to throw the water out of the bowl. And then we did. And then what happened again? And our motor, the mold, we stopped working. Almost too close to low rotor at that time.
Yeah.
And our boat stopped running. And the battery is already red, very, very red. And we don't have, the starter doesn't work anymore. So we have nothing to do.
And so, did you paddled?
And then, no, cannot, because it's still in the sea. It's very deep water. The water, we can see the water, the color is not about blue or about green. It's about the dark gray.
Yeah.
It's very,
that patch, what she's describing is there's Guam, Rota, Saipan, and I think, was that when you were immigrating to Guam? Or they were coming to Guam as refugees, and it was when they came under the cover of darkness to get to Guam to bypass the immigration welcome. And so the section of water that's just north of Guam, especially between Rota, is very treacherous. Locals won't go, they don't take a boat during there very often.
Yeah, because very dangerous.
Very dangerous. And so,
even though storm, the wave is still higher than usual.
Yeah. And so she's describing a situation where she was out in a boat in a very dangerous place, and they were stalled out.
And then we don't have any cell phone to call anybody to rescue us.
And how long were you out there?
And maybe about 7, at least 5 hours. Is we floating on the sea, and we can see it's always pretty close. At that time when the boat stopped running, the motor stopped running, we can see the seashore of the rotor. But after then, our boat is floating to suppose it's to the south side. I don't know, south side to the, suppose it's no. I don't know, south side.
It can get very scary when you're out on a boat, and when you're in the midst of turbulent water. I mean, last week we were on the ferry between San Francisco and Sausalito, and I would tell you, I was not at all afraid. It was so calm, nothing scary about it.
Beautiful sunlight.
Beautiful, I was like, oh, well, I can't use that as an illustration for how this thing works. But there was a time, I remember, when I was on staff at Mission Springs Conference Center in Northern California, we would take a group of 9th graders up to the chalet, or like an off-site cabin situation that we had in the Sierra Nevada. And then we would, during the day, we would take the 9th graders to Pinecrest Lake, which was not far away. And my job, on at least part of that time, was to teach sailing. And we had these little sunfish sailboats, 2 or 3 people, at the most 3 people. And I remember one afternoon, I was taking kids out and taking them for rides and teaching them how to sail. And a storm came up late in the afternoon. And in the Sierra Nevada, storms come up rather rapidly. And we were out on this very significant sized lake, and it started to rock quite a bit, and the winds are blowing. And you could see the clouds building, and you knew there was going to be electricity coming pretty soon. And I did not quite know what to do. I couldn't tack back because of the way the winds were coming this way and that way together. And so anytime I would put a sail into it, it would flip the other way around. It was just so chaotic. And I was not really worried about drowning. I had a slight concern about getting caught in the electrical storm that I thought was going to come. But I didn't worry about drowning because I knew we had I had this 9th grade girl with me. And we both had life jackets on, and we were out there, and I knew that we could, if it flipped over, that we would be in the water and that we could swim to shore and it would be no problem. We'd be all right. That wouldn't be an issue. But it was my biggest concern at that point was that I was afraid of that the story would get back to her family, that she would complain that we had taken her out into this dangerous situation and she almost drowned in the middle of this lake in a storm because of what we had done. And so I had this great fear of being thought irresponsible. But we eventually, I dropped the sail at that point, and we rode it for a few minutes, and then the wind started being consistent, and I was able to tack it back, and we made our way back. But that was kind of a scary thing, you know. It was scary to be thought irresponsible, but we each have our own paranoias and fears. So yeah, I need. How am I going to do this? I was counting on having some kids to help me tell the story again. So I think we'll just have all of us tell the story again. We aren't going to act it out. The story in Matthew, or rather Mark 4, 35 and 41. What's going on there? Let's just have some talk through it. What's going on in that story?
Jesus is sleeping on the job.
Jesus is sleeping on the job, but he had just come from where?
Speaking engagement.
A speaking engagement, which had a rather significant crowd of people that were following him, and they were, you know, he had been interacting with this crowd for quite some time, and so he gets in a boat, and it says there was several other boats that were following along, verse 36, right? So he said, let's cross over to the other side of the lake.
And it was evening.
And it was evening, when storms tend to come up. Late afternoon is when storms tend to come up. And they were going along, and verse 37 says that what? Gale force winds arose. What are gale force winds?
Strong winds.
Strong winds, significant winds. The kind of winds that you drop your sail on, because you don't want to have it flipping you over. And Jesus was in the rear of the boat, and he was, what was he doing, Tom?
Sleeping on the job.
He was sleeping on the job, or actually he was sleeping on the pillow, it says in the text. He had a big pillow back there, and he was prepared, and he was dozing off. And then what happened?
Woke him up.
Who is the they?
Well, I assume they were all 12 apostles were there.
The disciples. The what?
The slaves.
The slaves. There were no slaves. No, there were his followers, his disciples that were in the boat with him. All 12, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the other boat. Who knows how many people were in this boat? But they were panicked, right?
They panicked and woke him up.
They panicked and woke him up, right? And they said to him,
We're drowning.
Teacher, which is a nice, formal way of saying it. Rabbi, I'll use your title. Don't you care? We're drowning. Were they really literally drowning? I mean,
No.
well, or maybe they were feeling like it.
It
Or almost.
said that the boat was swamped.
The boat was
So
swamped.
they were, like May's boat,
Yeah.
they were taking on water.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they were, like in May's situation, they were moving water out. And I,
And then just keep on moving and keep on going.
well, keep on, yeah. Well, and they had to have some guys with the buckets that were throwing the water out so that they could keep going, because if you know, when your boat gets swamped, you don't go very fast. It kind of slows way down, and you're not only concerned about sinking, but you know that you're not going to make any progress out of the storm.
It's like a circle.
You start going in a circle.
Yeah, circle.
You're stuck, and the wind knocks you around quite a bit. So Jesus, what did he do then?
He spoke to the waves and told them to knock it out.
Well, he got up first. It says he got up, and then he gave orders to the wind, and he said to the lake,
Be silent.
be silent, be still. And then it says, what? The wind settled down, and there was a great calm. Yes, there was a great calm. And by the way, calm is the English power word of the week. It means to be quiet. It means to be still. It means to be unruffled, relaxed, peaceful. If you have calm, it's the opposite of panic, right? And there are degrees of calmness, but it's the opposite of panic. And so everything suddenly became peaceful. And then the overcome with awe, verse 41, they said to each other, who is this? Even the wind and the sea obey him. I have decided that we need to give Jesus a new superhero name. Captain Calm.
Could you name Santos?
Santos Calm? I don't know. Does it rhyme? I'm just playing with the words. Captain Calm is what I decided for this particular journey. And even though he is exhausted from dealing with the crowds, I mean, that's when I'm most likely to lose it in a crowd of people. I don't like crowds. Crowds are loud. Crowds are boisterous. Crowds are obnoxious. If you look in the New Testament, crowds are often the enemy of Jesus. Even though they are coming to hear him, they quickly turn on him. The crowds are not really particular. And I don't like crowds. I have a difficult time in stadiums. I have a difficult time going to concerts where there are lots of people. I don't like to be surrounded, packed in with lots of people and funneled and moved, and then it gets loud, and I don't deal well with crowds. And once I get away from a crowd, it takes me several hours to unwind from the crowd experience, to return to my normal senses. Jesus, however, is so calm, even after being with this crowd, that he goes right to the back of the boat to take a needed nap. There's no divine privilege here. He is fully human, and he is in need of a nap after being with all of those people. He's drained, and so he's taking a nap. And even when the storm hits and the waves crash and the boat takes on water, Jesus calmly ignores it all and naps away. Do you think he snored?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he could have. I don't know. He was snoozing away back there until the panicked disciples roused him. And at that point, he extends the calm that is inside of him, that characterizes him, to the environment around him. Verse 39, he got up and gave orders to the wind and said to the lake, silence, be still. And the wind settled down, and there was a great calm. Calm. Verse 40, Captain Calm asked them, why are you frightened? Don't you have faith yet? And the disciples more or less ignored that question, if you notice. It was directed at their own lack of calm confidence, their lack of trust in Captain Calm. And verse 41 says, Overcome with awe, they said to each other, "Who then is this? Even the wind and the sea obey him." They got the miracle part down. They grasped that. They understood the significance of that. And I'm sure that they were keenly aware of the fact that they were no longer in danger, and they were grateful for that. They understood that. They marveled at the lack of danger, how they could switch, how things switched so fast from being almost dying to being completely calm and being in a good spot. But did they see how it was all hanging on the fact that Jesus is Captain Calm? When we put our trust in Captain Calm, we begin to share the calmness which characterizes his life. That's the key point this morning.
Could I name super calm?
What about it?
Could I name Jesus super calm?
Jesus super calm. You can try that. That kind of works. When we put our trust in Jesus super calm, we begin to share in the calmness which characterizes his life. Late in 1939, the British government's Ministry of Information designed a number of posters intended to boost the morale of the Brits. The first two posters were widely distributed during the war, but there was a third poster which was intended only for distribution in the event of a German invasion. Now, a few of them did manage to get out and ended up in circulation somehow, but most remained in warehouses and were destroyed at the end of the war, which was a crying shame because they could have made millions on those signs. But however, one of them surfaced in a London bookshop 60 years after World War II ended. And from there it took the leap and became part of pop culture, and it's been replicated on coffee mugs and t-shirts and most everything you can imagine. And it simply says, you know what it simply says?
Keep calm and do something.
Keep calm and do something.
That's true.
That would be true.
Keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. And by the way, we've got, afterward, I've got the stamping table set up for any kids and any adults that want to do stamping. And one of the stamps, yes?
I want to do stamping.
You can do stamping. You can do it. And I've got one of them is keep calm and carry on. You can stamp it on your hand. You can stamp it on the paper. There are some other things there. So you can do some stamping afterward if you want to have your own keep calm and carry on sign. And I think that this is probably really a good summary of the message of Mark 4:35 to 41. Keep calm and carry on because Captain Calm is on board. Keep calm and carry on because Captain Calm is on board. So I thought that it would be helpful to use the poster to try and apply what the gospel is saying here. If you had to complete this sentence, keep calm and carry on when, and then you fill in the blank. Well, what would you put on that line there? Keep calm and carry on when I get a D in math.
When I get an A++.
That wouldn't be a keep calm kind of situation where or when you get a flat tire at 115-degree heat. That's kind of a time when you need to keep calm and carry on. How would you complete that sentence? Keep calm and carry on when
You get an F.
Yeah.
Keep calm and carry on when you are in trouble.
Keep calm and carry on when you are in trouble.
Keep calm and carry on when you get an F.
Keep calm and carry on when you get an A.
F.
Oh, an F. Which hasn't happened to you, I'm sure.
No. F.
Who else has got one?
No, we got plus.
Keep calm and carry on when you are in the mess, when you are the leader of a mess.
Keep calm and carry on when you are the leader of a mess. I understand that.
Keep calm and carry on when all seems lost.
When all seems lost. Yeah. Just the kind of the steady, you know, the unfazed. Just keep going.
Keep calm and carry on when you bark.
Keep calm and carry on when you're stressed out at work, when you're working too many hours and you're not getting enough sleep, and or keep calm and carry on when you don't have any work and you just have to push through it. You just have to keep going. You know, the problem comes when we panic and we pretend like God's not at work in the situation.
Keep calm when
Calm and carry on when you're in danger.
Keep calm and carry on when you're in danger.
Keep calm and
Doing a lot.
keep calm and carry on when you're sleeping.
You sleep. Oh, when you're in danger, I was thinking of, I saw a video on the internet of it was a cat video. And there was an alligator and a cat, and it was in a public park. I believe it was probably Florida. And the cat was wandering around, and he suddenly realized that the alligator was there. And the cat walked up to the alligator and just looked him in the eye. Now, if the cat had panicked at that point, the alligator would have chased him, grabbed him. But the cat just did the cat thing and just looked him in the eye.
And then just walk away.
And no, he didn't walk away. He eventually, after looking him in the eye for a minute, just went and swatted the alligator in the face. And of course, the alligator rolled over and took off running. And you're all thinking, oh. But that was because the cat had remained calm in a very dangerous situation.
Keep
I
calm
think
and
this
carry
is a
on.
good example for the children, even for the people who scare a dog.
Yeah.
When
Yes.
you see a dog, the danger may be the dog, a dog. If you moving, they will bite you, they will jumping on you.
Yeah.
But
If you
if
just
you
keep calm,
still and calm,
you can control the situation.
yes, this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Keep calm and carry on when you miss a shortcut.
Yeah, I mean, you can let that rattle. Yeah.
Keep calm and carry on when there's a fire.
Keep calm and carry on when you sin.
A fire.
Yeah, I heard you. That was a good one. But when you fail, you know, the temptation is to just say, oh, I'm failing anyway, why should I even bother?
Jump out of the window.
Keep calm and carry on even when you have failure in your life. Yeah.